All right, guys, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Amala Epinobi, and it's good to be here. We have an interesting topic to talk about today. Is there another French Revolution happening, but on the internet? Are we bringing out the guillotine, but this time calling it the digitine? I'm being so for real with you guys right now. We're going to unpack an interesting story that all started with one influencer who accidentally started a war on celebrities taking place on a platform known as TikTok. You guys know it. You hate it. We're going to talk about it. You guys know I was sick last week, so if you hear me coughing during this stream, no, you didn't, okay? But before we get into today's story, let's introduce Taylor in Nashville.
Bonjour, messieurs, dames. Vive la révolution.
Yes, apparently the revolution is coming, and it's going to be a digital revolution. And it all starts with somebody by the name Haley Bailey on the internet. Again, I'm not joking. This girl's name is Haley Bailey. She's a TikToker, and she recently reached 10 million followers on TikTok. Now, it's a little bit of a different story now. She has fallen just a little bit from that meteoric 10 million follower rise. But I'll tell you a little bit about Haley Bailey. She typically posts sort of comedic stuff on TikTok. You might recognize her face. I'll show you her little profile here. This is her profile. She's also been a Sports Illustrated model, so you might have seen her on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She's very popular on TikTok. I saw many of you saying in this chat, I've seen her in YouTube Shorts, because she makes comedy videos that go real wild. I mean, right here you can see 42 million views, 14 million views here, 5 million views here. She's all over the place. Okay, so recently, Haley Bailey was asked to do a little bit of press for the Met Gala, which we all saw some of the outfits from. Y'all know I'm not too invested in fashion or the Met Gala. It's always been a little bit strange to me, this whole Met Gala thing, and every year I feel like it gets more insane. The celebrities are all trying to top one another and do something more crazy than the last year. And at some point, the threshold just gets a little bit too high for my attention personally. But Haley Bailey, having been a model, having been active on TikTok as an influencer, and being a very well-known one, she was invited to do a little bit of press for the Met Gala, which involved her dressing up, going to a popular hotel where a lot of celebrities choose to get ready with their stylists and their makeup artists, and interview them, get videos online so that the Met Gala gets more press. Now, she decided to post a little video of her outfit on the Met Gala, and I'll show you just the beginning of this video. And she chooses to use a very viral TikTok sound. Now, here's a little clip.
Let them eat cake.
Here, take the bomb.
That was an interesting choice by your marketing and PR team. They finally said let them eat cake out loud. You might have just unlocked the rage of millions of people, and I would suggest looking into how that story ends.
Okay, so he's saying, I would suggest looking into how Let Them Eat Cake really ends. Now, I didn't show you her whole outfit. It doesn't really matter. Just imagine what was on her head all over her body in this very beautiful gown, the typical stuff for the Met Gala where people sort of go all out. Now, she filmed herself saying, let them eat cake, and the camera backed out and she showed her beautiful dress that she was wearing for the Met Gala. Now, let them eat cake is a quote that is famously attributed to Marie Antoinette. Now, historians go back and forth as to whether or not Marie Antoinette actually said, let them eat cake, but the story goes a little bit like this. Someone tells Marie Antoinette, hey girlie, the peasants don't have much money. They don't have much food. They can't really eat. The peasants don't have bread. Girl, I'm telling you, they don't have bread. Like, we're gonna have to do something about this. And Marie Antoinette was supposedly, so self-consumed, didn't really care about the life of the peasants, didn't really care that they didn't have bread, and she goes, let them eat cake, which is just this tone-deaf remark towards the impoverished and towards those who are less privileged. So a lot of people saw Haley Bailey film this video and say, let them eat cake, in her Met Gala gown with everything that's going on with Palestine and Israel and in Congo and all these different places in the world, and how a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and they chose to go after her. They said, this is the most tone-deaf video I've seen in a very long time. Now, I'd go out on a strong limb and say that Hailey Bailey probably had no idea what that quote actually meant in its full context and maybe the message that could have been promoted by filming a video like that. She does seemingly come off as a smart girl. I believe she has a lengthy education, but maybe she just didn't know what that "let them eat cake" quote really meant. But it started a war. Now, there was already whispers and people talking about boycotting celebrities. We need to unfollow celebrities. We need to take away their power, and their power is through their following on social media. This is how they get sponsorships. This is how they get eyes. This is why people care about them. It's because we follow them. So we need to unfollow them. And people said that to Hailey Bailey. We need to start unfollowing Hailey Bailey. Now, as I said before, she had 10 million followers on TikTok, and she recently celebrated that and said, thank you so much to my 10 million followers. I love you guys all so much. I'm here because of you. Now, she got 9.9 million, and people decided we're going to mass unfollow this girl. So that started a cascade moment where they said, we're going to tack on other celebrities and they're going to sort of join the crowd here and we're going to start unfollowing them. I'm going to show you another TikTok here where they first reference Hailey Bailey and then go on to show some other celebrities.
Let them eat cake.
Here, take the bomb.
Okay, so some other celebrities on these lists include Brittany Broski, who is a podcaster, TikTok influencer, Kim Kardashian, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Drake, you name it. If you've got a ton of followers, people are coming after them. Now, the only thing that is seemingly exempting these celebrities from being unfollowed is if they have spoken out about Palestine and Gaza, and if they've made it very clear with their platform that they want to support the civilians in Gaza and the Palestinians, then people are saying, okay, we can hold off, give them power because they're using their platform for a more powerful end, and they're actually supporting the message that we want them to support. Now, I think it's been a really interesting cocktail of things that has led to this. Obviously, there has been a simmering disdain and anger towards celebrities for a really long time. They lead these lives of decadence, and many of them at the same time try to convince people that they are just leading the same normal life as everybody else while remaining silent on a lot of the issues that matter to certain people. So I'm not surprised at all that this digital guillotine, aka digitine, is happening right now. These people are likening themselves to French revolutionaries because it seemingly is a bourgeois versus the proletariat fight now. It is us versus them. It is the elite and the normal people, and they've identified the elite in celebrity. I'm not too mad at this. I understand why it's happening. I think celebrities are an interesting target because they're the most, I think, superficial layer of the elite. They're kind of the puppets of the elite in a way. You should probably shoot, a few tiers up towards some of these CEOs and, big investment firms that are really pulling the strings with a lot of these things. But celebrities is where it's happened. And it actually led me down a very interesting rabbit hole because it seems like the Met Gala in particular was a massive catalyst for this sort of engagement, this fervor towards unfollowing celebrities. And we all saw the Met Gala outfits. You couldn't really run away from them. If you didn't watch the Met Gala on your television, you saw it on Twitter or on Instagram or on YouTube, and these huge outfits that are sometimes so big that you can't even help but look at them. And of course, I checked out a few of the Met Gala outfits where I'm not too invested in the fashion. I don't know all the background here, but some of the things I look at them and I'm like, it's getting a little ridiculous. It's getting a little ridiculous. I love fashion as an art, and I think it's really cool that, one day a year they really play around and they play on a theme and they throw everything that they can at it. But it is interesting to sort of watch how expensive these outfits become, how many resources it seems are wasted. But let's continue. Now, one of the outfits that really stuck out to a lot of people on the internet was Camila Cabello, and I'll put her in full screen for just a moment here. If you see Camila here, she's wearing just like this jewel encrusted dress, but in her hand right here is what she referred to as an ice purse with a little rose in the center here, or a flower of some sort. That is literally a block of ice that she is carrying in her hand. Literally a melting block of ice. I can't imagine how cold her hands must have been. But if you ask how much that purse ran her, Taylor, as a man, do you have any guess?
For a purse made out of ice?
Purse made out of ice.
I mean, ice would theoretically be pretty cheap. You just have to make the mold and then, freeze it into however. So I don't know. It can't be that much. A few $100s.
So I had to think about this. I was really racking my brain because I was like, okay, there is a flower in the middle, okay, and it seems like it's made out of metal or like a stainless steel of some sort. I don't know, or it's, gold plated or something. I'm like, okay, that's going to run 5-10 grand, something like that crazy. And then I think about, guys who drink really expensive whiskey and they like the totally crystal clear balls of ice. I think Erewhon, which is one of the most expensive grocery stores here in California, was selling a bag of balls of ice, and that ran for $30. $30 to get that clear ice. So I'm like, if you have to do something special with the ice to make it totally crystal clear, as it is in this photo in Camila Cabello's hand, I'm thinking that's going to be a few $100s. I'm wrong, guys. I'm wrong. Where is my button for that?
That is not correct.
It is in fact not correct. This purse was over $20,000. I see all of your guys' guesses in the chat down below. Some of you said $10K. Some of you said $80. Some of you said $1,000. Over $20,000. Now, of course, in a time where there's a lot of turmoil, a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, a lot of people are living in America and thinking, I can't afford school, I can't afford a home, I can't afford a car, all of these different things are popping up for them. It is a little wild to watch a celebrity spend $24,000 or however many $1,000s it was, above $20,000, on a block of ice that they carry around as it literally melts in their hand throughout the night.
And not even in diamonds ice, just straight up ice. That's the crazy part for me. I can't help but think this past weekend I was visiting my family and I was talking to my father-in-law, and he was telling me about when bottled water first came out in like around the 80s. And before then it was just Perrier, and that was like this fancy French thing or whatever. But the idea of selling water in bottles was just crazy. And then they came out and he went to the grocery store and saw it. And he was like, they're selling water, as though that was some crazy thing. So the idea that we're now selling ice cubes for $30 is he must be I hope he's not watching today, because his mind will be blown on that and this $20,000 frozen water purse.
Dude, one of these days I need to show my grandfather the Met Gala outfits and just watch him be flabbergasted by how expensive they are. I bet he wouldn't be able to just fathom this. It's unbelievable. Then, of course, we have some other examples. This new up-and-coming singer by the name of Tyla, who's really been popping off recently, did a beautiful rendition on the theme, which was the Garden of Time, and we're going to get to that in just a moment and explain what the Garden of Time really means. But she wore this sort of sandy outfit. Let me actually take myself off the screen so you guys can see her sand outfit to represent, the sands of time. Now, a beautiful gown. The gown only lasts for the night because you have to literally be cut out of it, and then it's done. It is destroyed. So it's kind of these displays of fleeting decadence, I think, that are getting people a little bit pissed off. Like, you're spending so much money on these things and so many resources that could go towards other things. And by the end of the night, your ice purse is melted and your sand dress is cut off. And it's just interesting to watch. Now, I decided to look into the theme of the Met Gala because people were posting on TikTok saying we should really look into the theme of the Met Gala because it really doesn't make sense for this to be the theme. Now, the theme of the Met Gala is none other than the Garden of Time, and it was inspired by a short story titled The Garden of Time by none other than J.G. Ballard. Now, if you go through and read this short story, which you can find online, let me plug the website where I found it. It is lithub.com. I went ahead and read this short story. Very, very Interesting. Okay. So this short story follows a count and a countess that live in this really beautiful villa. And I'm going to go down a deep little story tangent right now for a little bit. So stick with me, guys, for this story because you'll understand by the end of it. So the count and the countess live in this huge villa. And spoiler alert, I will be spoiling the story for you guys right now. And it's beautiful. There are paintings everywhere. Everything is huge and massive and gorgeous and lush, and this countess just spends her nights playing music, and her harpsichord, I believe, is what she ends up playing. And they spend their nights together, this couple that's been together for years in this just gigantic villa. And it's described that they sort of have a garden, and it's a garden full of these jeweled flowers. And we'll come to find out that these flowers are called time flowers. Now, during the night, the Count is outside looking out at his garden and, past his entire villa. And beyond the villa is just a wide plain, and it's sort of a lifeless, nothing, nowhere plain. And he starts to reference the fact that this army of people is coming up the plain and coming towards the villa where the Count and the Countess live, with all their decadence and the money and the stuff that comes with the money, like the artwork and the beautiful harpsichord and all this stuff. So this army is approaching, and the army is clearly impoverished. They're tattered clothes and all these different things. They're coming towards this villa. And what the Count does to sort of keep this army at bay is he grabs one of his time flowers and breaks it off the stem. And this time flower takes them back in time where the army is now at rest and they're no longer coming towards them anymore. And it gives them a few days before the army returns. So over and over, they live through this life of the Count and the Countess is sort of, I guess, just set at rest with her harpsichord. She's not really paying attention to what's happening outside. She's probably become used to this routine of the army approaching and them getting rid of another time flower, and then the army is at bay again, and then it approaches again. But slowly but surely, this army is getting closer and closer and closer, and the Count and the Countess in their beautiful villa are running out of time flowers. They get to about a dozen left. So he keeps getting rid of these time flowers, and the army is still approaching closer and closer and closer. And eventually, they have no more time flowers to get rid of. They get rid of their very last one to keep the army at bay just once more. And the army makes it to their villa where time has finally caught up to them. And all these beautiful things that they once had have just fallen. And they've become decrepit and just brought down with time, as time does when it catches up to the beautiful things that you have. And this entire short story that apparently is the theme of the Met Gala is an indictment on the upper class, that the upper class takes all of this stuff that has monetary value and all of this beauty and all of these jewels and these paintings and the gorgeous palaces and villas, and they hoard them to themselves as the impoverished outside continuously try to make it to the upper class. And they keep them at bay because they have somewhat of a power and reign over time, but eventually time catches up to you, and it catches up to the beautiful things that you think you have. How is it that somebody read this short story and was like, check Met Gala. This makes total sense for us to bring the most upper class amongst us into one building with these huge, elaborate, fleeting displays of beauty and wealth, like a melting ice purse, and tell them that this is the theme, the Garden of Time. And it makes you think that maybe the assistants of these celebrities didn't read the short story that was actually the theme for the Met Gala, because if you had, I think there would be some very different interpretations of the story taking place. It is an indictment on the Met Gala itself and a criticism of the type of people that would put together something like the Met Gala, yet it was chosen as the theme, which I find very interesting because it's either that somebody like Anna Wintour, who's responsible for putting on the Met Gala and choosing the invites and all these different things, read the story and was sort of ignorant towards its actual criticisms of the upper class, or she read it and thought, like, this is perfect. We're going to throw this in the face of people and nobody's really going to be the wiser. I don't know which one that would be, but it's very interesting. And of course, I didn't do the full story justice. You should go and read it yourself because it's actually very beautifully written. And it has some interesting moments where the Count hugs his wife in this sort of anxious despair towards what's about to happen to them when the army finally reaches their villa. And he sort of recognizes that, wow, I haven't hugged my wife in several years. Meaning that this upper class individual who was so comfortable in his upper class status really lost sight of the more minute beauties of life, like hugging your wife and being around her. And he got so entrenched in this idea that he was constantly going to have time because his garden was so bountiful and he had all these beautiful things that he lost sight of what was really important, which is hugging your wife, and hadn't done that for several years. And if that is not more of an example of exactly what the Met Gala seems to be, I don't know what is. So very interesting to see that story be the idea behind it. Taylor, how do you feel about the Met Gala watching as an outsider?
Yeah, very much an outsider because I really don't get it. You see the Hunger Games outfits and the Decadence and everything, and I can look at, like the dress that you showed, that, what was her name, Tyla, that she was wearing. That beautiful dress, like very pretty. That's what you're looking for like a fancy event. But when you get people like, Lizzo with the weird boxes on her head and stuff like that, it's lost on me. And I understand there's a certain world where people are like, oh, that's expressing this fashion and this theme and all this stuff. And I just don't really understand it. But to your point, it seems like the choosing of that story, it's almost like the celebrities like to think of themselves as enlightened and as very self-aware, and it's like, we're going to subvert this whole idea that we're this out of touch class, and we're going to say, we're choosing this story to kind of highlight how self-aware that we are, and it's not really about the money, it's about what's most important. But that doesn't work if you're bringing ice purses and showing up in these Hunger Games outfits and having $75,000 tickets and such like that. So I can understand why we're seeing this backlash highlighted. It seems like that Marie Antoinette quote video was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. That was already a very heavy laden camel, with the irony that this event just continues to pile on top of itself.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So Haley Bailey just chose a TikTok sound that was going viral, but it happened to sort of be just, I don't know, the needle in the haystack for what would thread these stories together, the things that people were feeling. You'll hear a lot of people say that the Met Gala is so Hunger Games. I saw somebody in the chat say, I don't understand why people compare it to the Hunger Games, because in the Hunger Games, you have the districts that are responsible for putting together all the different resources that the Capitol uses, everything from lumber to the harvesting of wheats and fruits to steel and jewels and all these different things. And the different districts send this up to the Capitol, and the Capitol uses it for fashion and glitz and glamour and jewelry and these brilliant displays of decadence. That's the word that keeps coming to mind. So that's why people are comparing the Met Gala to Hunger Games. Now, Haley Bailey just seemingly made a mistake in choosing the wrong TikTok audio, and that "let them eat cake" is what people are feeling, because people are saying, look at the children and the civilians in Gaza, look at what's happening to the Palestinians, look at what's happening to our homeless veterans, look what's happening to our students and people who are living paycheck to paycheck and all these different things. And celebrities are, in their opinion, kind of saying, let them eat cake by continuing to do these huge displays at the Met Gala. Now, I'm going to get into the sort of campaigning that's happened after this. So we've got a few different names for this. The guillotine, which is the digital guillotine that many are saying we need to bring out for these celebrities to sort of lop their digital heads off, I guess, by unfollowing them on all these platforms. They also have the blockout, is what they're calling this campaign, where you're blocking as many celebrities as possible to cut off their influence. I'll show you a TikTok where a young woman tells you a list of celebrities that she thinks you should unfollow. Let's watch.
Here's another list of celebrities you need to be blocking this week, with obvious reasons unless you've been living under a rock. A lot of you guys have already done this one, but I'm gonna mention it anyway. Taylor Swift has to get out. Before the Swifties want to come in my comments, listen, I'm so sorry that no one told you this, but I'll hold your hand to do so. Taylor does not give an F about her fans. Shocker, I know. Alongside that, she doesn't give an F about the climate crisis and actually contributes to the majority of the world's carbon emissions. Yeah, bye. The next celebrity that needs to be out of here is Lizzo. You've embarrassed yourself this week. And I know I wasn't the only one rooting for Lizzo once upon a time ago. But the fact that it took this whole blockout movement for her to realize the power of her platform is absolutely shameful. Not only that, but she outwardly defended celebrities saying that, oh, they don't have as much power as we think that they do.
Celebrities do not have as much power as you guys think they do.
I'm also talking to my fellow rich people with money.
Expecting us to scrounge around for loose change, trying to save families to escape multiple different genocides, whilst having a net worth of 40 million and barely donating anything. Yeah, I see right through you. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Next is Brittany Broski for obvious reasons I don't care. Because not only have her fans proven to be massive hypocrites for what they actually stand for, but likewise to Lizzo, this whole half-assed attempt to now suddenly post about Gaza or any other relevant humanitarian crises because of this blockout movement is sad and pathetic. And it's just very telling of your character.
It still means a lot to me, and I can't change how little I've spoken about a cause in the past.
He outwardly showed her disdain for wanting to help relevant causes, whether that's the G-side in Gaza, whether that's the G-side in Congo, or anywhere. The hypocrisy is telling and constitutes a permanent block. Mwah, bye.
Okay, there you go. And yeah, so this is actually, I guess, gaining traction. I think Kim Kardashian lost 3 to 4 million followers. Taylor Swift lost 5 million in 24 hours. Hailey Bailey, as I said before, lost around 100,000, I believe, in the wake of this, because people are coming in with influxes of support and then bringing it down. But every single day, they're releasing these celebrity blockout lists that give you a new list of celebrities that you can go through and unfollow on your phone. Now, this has not impacted me in any way, shape, or form. I don't know that I feel too strongly about this move. I am curious to see how this works. I don't follow celebrities. So this is sort of outside of my wheelhouse because this is not within the realm of my imagination of why so many people so closely follow celebrities. And it does seem like an interesting way to spend your time. And part of me is thinking, you know what? Sure, good for you. Like, upend the dynamic between the elite and the normal people or whatever and see what happens and see if there actually is a social response that you can generate that actually means something. And I'll be interested to watch that from the outside. But also part of me is like, touch grass. Like, are we really following celebrities that closely that you each day can get a list of celebrities to block and you're already following all of them? Like, my goodness, I didn't realize, like, I realized we were consumed with the lives of celebrities and like we have a culture surrounding celebrities and knowing what's happening in their daily lives. But I don't follow them on Instagram or TikTok or nothing. I don't know. There would not be a celebrity on this list where I have to actively actually go through and unfollow them because I don't care. I'm not following these people. So I think it's healthy in that, you probably shouldn't be following all these celebrities and letting it consume your life. But I hear some people saying like, I'm spending my entire day going through my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter and unfollowing these celebrities. That shouldn't take you an entire day. This should take you seconds, I feel like. Taylor, you're laughing. I don't think you follow any other celebrities. Maybe football players or something.
Yeah, I mean, some athletes or whatever. But yeah, the idea that this would be something that like you have to have the person to go unfollow of the day, like that means you had to be following them in the first place. And the touch grass point, I think, is great because it is likely the people who are spending all their time online and need to go touch grass, who are already following all these people and now need to unfollow them and get really excited about a movement to unfollow them. It sounds like y'all are just too invested in the presence of celebrities online or protesting the presence of celebrities online and just need to chill and go, I don't know, breathe some air, take a walk and enjoy life a little bit and not be so outraged about what's going on the internet.
Right. And I get it if like, I understand what a lot of people are doing. There is this project, and I believe it's called Project Olive Branch. And forgive me if I'm saying that incorrectly. You can correct me in the chat, and hopefully we'll catch that, where they're donating money to get families out of Gaza and get innocent civilians out of Gaza. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing to, if you can accumulate enough money to make that happen, you can make that happen. I've seen some TikTokers who in one day, in 24 hours, generated $200,000, I think, to get a family out of Gaza. And that TikToker's name is Yuval. If you're on TikTok, you'll probably know who he is. Awesome. Getting innocent people out of dangerous scenarios. I think that's a great thing. I hope that, you know, celebrities who are pushing for that actually believe that, and it's something that they want to do. It's another thing to push somebody to, you know, say something that they don't believe in. We watched that video of that crazy woman going after Alec Baldwin and telling him to say free Palestine, say it, say it in like a Starbucks or something like that. And I'm like, okay, imagine you harass him enough and he does say it. Does it mean anything that he said that since you harassed it out of him? But by all means, if you are following a celebrity and that is applying monetary value to their life and you don't feel like that they are giving any value back to your life and you don't feel like they're supporting the values that you care about, yeah, sure, unfollow them. I think this is just the natural progression as the divide becomes greater between celebrities and, you know, normal people. And this was bound to happen. This was just the straw that broke proverbial camel's back. Now people are posting these little infographics about this whole blockout campaign. We'll read some here. This says, celebrities owe nothing to us, therefore we owe nothing to them. Reconsider who you choose to contribute to the platform of. It says, this is an important example of digital mobilization, an emerging area of study in which technology is looked at as a toolkit for the widespread and effective mobilization of a cause. Continue reclaiming individual power. So there you go. That's kind of the backbone of this all. We are going to get into Hailey Bailey's response on all of this, and then we'll unpack a little bit more this whole guillotine movement that's happening right now. But let's hear from Hailey Bailey, because I'm sure she got quite the shock posting a TikTok video from her at the Met Gala, not anticipating this response whatsoever.
Hey guys, I know what a lot of you guys want from me right now is answers, and I want nothing more than to give them to you. So hopefully I can answer every question that you have about what happened on Monday night. About a week and a half before the Met Gala, I was contacted by E! To see if I had any interest in being a pre-Met Gala host. There are usually 3 hotels that celebrities leave from to go to the Met Gala. I was stationed at what's called the Mark. I was supposed to do content with celebrities and on air about their departures to the Met. The Met is one of the most exclusive events in all of fashion. You have to be handpicked by Anna Wintour herself to go. That's the only way that you get there. I was not invited by Anna Wintour. I did not hold an actual invitation to the Met Gala. I was involved only as a host, meaning that the moment that the last attendee left the hotel, I went home and I watched the Met Gala coverage from my couch with my friends. That is also why you haven't seen any photos of me on the white and green carpet for the Met Gala, because I was working at the Mark. And I literally wasn't even invited to the Met Gala, so security would have definitely dragged me out. I paid no amount of money to go to the gala because I wasn't invited. Since I was little, I have idolized the Met. I love the costumes and the design, and it has always been one of my biggest dreams to be invited to attend.
Now, of course, she got heat for this response as well. And now she goes on to say that, you know, a friend made the dress, they made it for free, everything's okay. You know, I didn't go to the actual event itself. Now, people started sleuthing and found out that she went to Met Gala after parties, and they said you just went home after doing the press. You actually went to after parties. You are not telling the truth, blah, blah, blah. And then she does go on to say in this video, in this sort of like cryy tone, I swear, like, I'm just like you guys. I'm a normal person. You know, she tries to insinuate that she's maybe not an elite. She's not a celebrity. And of course, the natural response to that is that she has 10 million followers on TikTok, which does, in fact, make you a celebrity. She also has videos on, I believe, YouTube and TikTok, where she has somebody tour her $17,000 a month apartment in New York. So it did not fall on kind ears, her statement that I am just like you guys, and I swear we are the same, and that there is no difference between us. Now, there is an element here of just disliking people for having money and being successful that I feel like we cannot skip over. And I do feel like that is a motivation of some people, if not many. But I can also understand not wanting to support people who you feel like are no longer giving anything to your life. And I feel as though something we've been talking about on this show for a long time, which is the superficial nature of celebrity and what they give to the world, is finally being shown a little bit. I think people are kind of seeing the man behind the curtain and realizing, wait a minute, this is not really giving much value to my world, to my life, but it's giving an exorbitant amount of value to theirs. Meanwhile, people are feeling a little bit downtrodden. They feel like they can't do anything about their current states. They feel like they can't do anything about conflicts that are happening around the world, civilian lives that are being lost. And they're turning to celebrities who they supported, who were told, oh, we're friends, or I'm just like you. And they realize, oh, we're not friends. And you're not just like me. So a totally understandable turn. For one, I would say your life is better spent without following celebrities anyways, in kind of staying out of that realm. We talk about them from a cultural perspective, as we've done on this show for a really long time. But this idea of the friendship with celebrity is kind of lost, I think. And I don't know that it ever existed. And I think people are just starting to realize that. And we'll see. If I'm being honest, I think this is going to happen in the same way that most things happen. It's like a cycle where, oh my gosh, it feels like a huge impact. And like 2 weeks in, Kim Kardashian has lost 10 million followers and Taylor Swift has lost 20 million and blah, blah, blah. And then you get a few weeks out of that, and then Taylor Swift has a new boyfriend and her and Travis Kelce break up, and all of a sudden the following goes up another 20 million. Or Kim Kardashian gets another rib removed and all of a sudden her following goes back up. So we'll see if it sticks. Taylor, do you think this is going to be a digitine revolution, another digitally violent revolution, just like the French one?
That's a loaded question. I think it'll probably blow over after a few weeks. I think people are really excited about it right now, and it's probably something we'll look back on, or they will look back on as like, remember when we suck it to the celebrities? And I think it'll just be like another chapter in the what was the Occupy Wall Street moment and all these different little blips on the historical record of times where the masses were angry against the elite. It's a tale as old as time, and I think it's pretty easy to get people agitated against the powers that be. But I think that'll continue to happen. But as far as this in particular, I don't think they're going to like bring down celebrity culture, massively shift the landscape. And I saw some like saying, oh, well, if we take them down by this much, like I'm a creator, so I know how much they're getting paid. And if they lose this many followers, this much money, like I don't think they really understand at that level. Like when you're talking about Kim Kardashian, it's not just how many followers she has. It's literally like her brand, the scope of her influence is so much bigger than that. So a company that's paying her to be a part of their campaign is factoring in a lot more. So I think maybe the activists have an inflated sense of how effective their things will be. But like you said, I don't begrudge anyone for if you don't like something a celebrity's doing, by all means, unfollow them. But this idea that we need to like compel speech and that we need to usher in this new revolution and put them on the guillotine, it's a little much for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, you can become a celebrity overnight. There's an interesting just like gray area in between being a normal human and being a celebrity, where all of a sudden you can post TikTok videos and you're a celebrity now, or you can be like a Kim K where your sex tape gets released and all of a sudden you're a celebrity. But I guess the argument here is that there are the good celebrities and the bad celebrities. Funnily enough, a lot of the people who are pushing this blockout campaign, or some of the original creators of it, are becoming celebrities through their pushing of this campaign. So hopefully they just get the bullet points for what they're looking for and what constitutes celebrity and what constitutes good and bad celebrity correct, because you're on your way there just by virtue of going viral from saying these things and promoting these things to other people. It's a very interesting discussion once you truly get into all the crux of it and how it came about and the Met Gala and the theme and all the different storylines that pop up and are crossing over one another in this pursuit of, I don't know what, a new celebrity landscape. Because I guess the idea is that if all these celebrities suddenly come out tomorrow and start promoting these causes and saying, hey, give money to this, or I gave money to that, are you going to forgive them? Or is it going to be a, no, you were way too late. You should have done it sooner. And now that you've responded to the fact that people are unfollowing you and suddenly you care about these causes, we still don't like you. Because I would imagine that's what happens. If Lizzo comes out tomorrow and says, please, let's donate towards, humanitarian aid in Gaza, and I truly care about this, you guys are going to say, well, it's just because we unfollowed you. So you're on the chopping block no matter what, presumably.
And didn't she come out with a little bit of a statement in favor of Gaza or something along those lines? And already people are like, yeah, this is just performative. It's disingenuous. You're just doing this because of what it's costing you or because of the public pressure, and you're not really a part of the movement. So there is no forgiveness, and it does smell of this sort of cancel culture mob mentality that we've witnessed in recent years. But, when you look back in history as well, like you were talking about how people divide between the good people who believe all the right things and then everybody else, the counter-revolutionaries, the people who stand for the status quo. I was just doing a quick refresher on the French Revolution before we went live and found a stat that like 85% of the people who were killed in the French Revolution were actually people who were not a part of the nobility or part of the clergy. They were just normal everyday people who happened not to be supportive of the revolution or were determined to be so in one way or another. And so this has a tendency to very much eat its own. And then, like you were pointing out a minute ago, the great irony is that a lot of the people who lead these kinds of movements and these kinds of revolutionary moments are people who themselves become the new bourgeoisie and who become tyrannical and oppressive in their own right and become the very thing that they started protesting against. So it's interesting. This is kind of like a microcosm of that, and it's the guillotine. It's not a real guillotine, but you're seeing the same mechanics that we've seen in like the Russian Revolution, French Revolution, and stuff throughout history. And that is a little bit concerning to me.
Yeah, I just have a feeling this is going to be so short-lived.
Yeah.
I don't know just how much momentum this is going to build, but I guess we'll see. A few million followers here and there ain't no joke for some of these celebrities, and I'm sure we'll see maybe some responses. I think you'd have to hit smaller celebrities with those sort of numbers for it to matter. I don't know if Kim K losing 4 million followers matters all that much, but I hear people saying that it really does affect their bottom line as far as sponsorships and brand deals and all these different things, because of course brands are looking at the numbers and trying to push that towards you. But even so, I guess this affects their future dollars, not what they currently have and their current net worths, because they're going to be fine they're already set for life. So I guess they're tearing down the generational wealth aspect, I guess. Even so, these guys are billionaires, many of them. So yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to hear from you guys. We're going to get into your super chats and hear from each and every one of you. The most interesting thing about all this for me was definitely reading the short story for the Met Gala and just seeing how just antithetical it was to the actual process and the Met Gala itself. Yeah.
Well, Ange is our first super chatter today, who asks, Amala, have you gotten your P.O. box set up? I have a gift. I still have a gift I made from Christmas for you.
I just have to give the paperwork. I think I responded to you on my Friday show when I was sick and I was still hopping in the live chat with you guys, but I just have to bring the paperwork. My voice is actually catching up to me now. You can hear it. You can hear it.
Timothy W. says, hey, Amala and Taylor, wish y'all a great day. I just finished my AP Calc with a 99. I finished my other classes with straight A's. So glad to be done with high school.
Yeah, good for you. That's awesome.
Killing it.
I've never taken a calculus class, and I don't think it would go well if I did.
Yeah, well done. Hopefully you've got a great head start going into college, assuming you're going to college, which I guess we don't assume that anymore.
Not these days.
But yeah, that's awesome, man. Congrats. Anisha says, I'm not surprised that a bunch of celebs spend too much money on overpriced items or they didn't think their theme through. More surprised that people are surprised by this. Haven't they always done this?
Yeah, I've never, again, looked into heavily to the Met Gala or the themes of the Met Gala. I do remember, what was the last one? They were honoring somebody for the last, not for the last, maybe it was the last Met Gala, but they were honoring a certain designer. So that one you didn't have to look too much. Karl Lagerfeld. That was one of the Met Gala themes in one of the last few years. But this one, yeah, I wouldn't have even thought to go and read a short story that had inspired what happened here. And you would imagine, I think some of the assistants to these celebrities probably looked into it and then helped give ideas for their outfits. It'd be interesting to go back and look through the celebrity outfits and try to guess who actually was inspired by the short story itself, knowing now what I know, but I don't know if I'm going to take the time to do that.
Who just read the headline and who actually dug into the story.
Yeah.
Hopefully if you're like designing a, presumably tens of thousands of dollars, art dress or whatever for an event like this, you would really do your due diligence to research what the actual thing is about. But I wouldn't put it past them not to do that in some cases.
Yeah.
Let's see. Raised by Wolves says, anyone remember AOC's 2021 Tax the Rich gala dress? I wonder how she's feeling about that now.
Yeah, imagine if she'd worn that this year. That would have been a very interesting occurrence. I bet she feels fine about that. I think.
Still stands by it.
I think so.
She still wants all her monies. The Gym says, celebs don't likely know or care about the story. It's just a party. True or not, my inner cynic feels like they're flaunting their hubris. Even God himself couldn't sink this ship. It's a quote from Captain Smith of the Titanic.
Yeah, I do feel like they feel like that sometimes, definitely. But I think it might honestly be changing. I don't know that celebrities are that untouchable as they were before. When you think about all the weird stuff that's been happening in Hollywood that is suddenly getting exposed through, I don't know, everything from the Weinstein, Louis C.K., P. Diddy stuff to the Drake stuff that's coming out now, and this shielding of Hollywood that was once happening, the child stars that are coming out and exposing Hollywood, all the money that circulates in Hollywood that's now being exposed, and now this stuff with the Met Gala and the guillotine and stuff. It seems like that protective layer that was once surrounding celebrities is sort of withering away a bit, which I'm kind of here for it, honestly. I might not agree with everything that's happening right now, but I'm here for the bringing down of the wall that exists amongst the elites.
Yeah, and I just wonder, to your point earlier, are we seeing some of these celebrities be thrown out under the bus kind of as fall guys while the BlackRock interests and the World Economic Forum types and such are still doing what their nefarious things that they've always been doing.
Right.
And the cycle will not really be broken, but we'll all feel like it did because we got P. Diddy or something.
Yeah, that's always something to think about.
We need to put our tinfoil hats on for this segment.
Yeah, we do.
M Loves Zero says, I'm just a girl. Let me enjoy the Met Gala and Eurovision in peace. Crying emoji. Lived for how chaotic Eurovision was, but still, P.S. Hope you're feeling better. Amala.
Oh, thank you so much. I am feeling a lot better than before, and I didn't cough this entire stream. I'm feeling it, but I didn't do it. Yeah, I know a lot of people just like passively enjoy it, and that was kind of where I was at when the outfits were coming out on Twitter. I was like, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, we're moving on. What else is going on in the world? So I can feel for people who just want to see a beautiful outfit and move on with their days. But have you analyzed what that outfit means in a world with this particular class structure and bourgeois this and proletariat that?
I don't begrudge people if they're just like, hey, I'm into fashion and I'm paying attention to this because I care about that, and it's kind of fun to look at what the highest examples of artistic expression in this particular domain look like and can issue opinions and judgments on that. I think that's all fair. It's the level of like investment in the personal opinions of celebrities and the level of investment in all this other stuff. It's less about merely noticing things that are happening or noticing celebrities and what they're into, but it's like, oh my gosh, I just care so much. This is the be all end all of life, where you get to be like, okay, you need to calm down.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, a couple more coming in here. Sasha O'Neill says there's a difference between stars and celebs, like comparing a classic timeless song to a temporary hype song soon to be forgotten. Sorry to sound mean, LOL.
Interesting. Yeah, I can understand where you would say there's a difference between a Marilyn and a Kim Kardashian or something like that, but I don't know. It's so blurred together these days that it's hard to tell. I don't know what exactly distinguishes a star from a celebrity or what the criteria is. Maybe it's seniority, how many years you stay around. If you make it a decade in Hollywood, you're a star versus a celebrity. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, I want to see a list of like names you'd recognize from 10 years ago that just disappeared or no one talks about them anymore because they didn't reach that status.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty. Liquor Delicious says, hi, Taylor. I'm sorry Norway became dead last in the European Song Contest last weekend. You need to do better. Some non-binary guy in a short dress won. Maybe that's an idea for next year.
What is that?
Were you following any of the Eurovision stuff?
No.
I saw some clips of some really strange looking people on social media saying some strange things. But
no.
I guess that's like Europe's American Idol. It's like a really big deal over there.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't follow that. I did see the strange girl with the black hair, weird looking thing screaming, but I don't know anything about.
Maybe like World Cup meets American Idol because you have like different artists representing your countries. I don't really know how it all works, but
interesting.
Sounds, I don't know. I saw a lot of buzz about it.
Seems like I have to do a very deep dive to get into it.
Shame on my Norwegian heritage for coming in last, I guess, for those guys. Nicodemus 1984 says, about fashion. Last week, Ali McGraw turtleneck. Today, a kind of mix of Marilyn's sweater in Let's Make Love and the Flashdance sweater. I hope to see Taylor wearing a Big Lebowski sweater someday.
Today is
the only one of those things I know what it is the Big Lebowski sweater.
Yeah, I've seen the Big Lebowski, but a very, very long time ago. Let's Make Love and Flashdance sweater. I'll have to look it up. But you have a very extensive knowledge of sweaters, Nicodemus 1984. I'll have to look all of these things up. I appreciate the knowledge, though, and a deep cut reference anytime I get one.
Sweaters for days. It's too hot in Tennessee right now for sweaters, I gotta say.
I still have chills from being sick, so we're still chilling. I think we have one more.
Elaine Smith says the star only makes money from it.
I don't know what that means. A
From
star
what?
only makes money from what? You'll have to elaborate.
From fame? I don't know. And then Timothy says Croatia had by far the best song in Eurovision and should have won. Israel would have done much better, but it looks like the judges got political. Shocker. I like how we have likes now on the super chats. That's got 10 likes already.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
if people agree, you can support them up.
You guys can bump it up. Yeah, I didn't realize what Eurovision was. I'm gonna have to look into this. I'm actually going to Croatia for a couple days this year, so we have to look into this Croatia song and see if it's a vibe. I can play it while I'm there. That is very cool. Okay, I guess I'll have to look into Eurovision, guys. And that is our final super chat of the day. Very interesting topic. We don't normally do deep dives like this, but it ended up being one just in this topic because your girl fell down a rabbit hole looking into this Met Gala stuff and looking into this Digitine. Let me know how you feel about it. Will you be unfollowing celebrities on the good old blockout list that is posted every day? Do you even follow celebrities in the first place? Let me know your thoughts. As always, if you disagree with anything that was said in this video, drop it in the comments down below after the stream. I like to encourage healthy debate, so duke it out, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe. Click the notification bell to be notified every single time we're live. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Plus, we post videos for you guys every single day. Tomorrow's video is about a teacher who was getting his hair undone in his class by female students, and it went viral because people were saying inappropriate. It was inappropriate. Now, we're going to debate that in tomorrow's episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, so keep an eye out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.